Okay, I stopped a video that I was listening to. I love this channel called RK Seeker of Truth, and he was talking about what is called a Palladian perspective on a word that they use called absolutum, or the original creation. And so, because of the way that the English language works, and I've shared how it is that I experience what it is that I am, because my consciousness is energy, which is self-awareness. And so I remember, because I've covered so much ground since I was a little boy, and I've always stood on my ground, which is the center point of the first fire, which is the first star, because I experience what love is, because that's what I am in living spirit. So everything that I am is what you are, I'm giving love to. So when he was talking about using the words, what we call thought or intention, a unit of consciousness that uses a thought. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use sort of a different word on what I've always known about what it is that I am, because I'm self-aware. So I'm aware of what I am. And what I'm aware of is what I am, which is what love is. So therefore, if I am what love is, which is what I am, which is energy, then therefore, if I'm in love with what it is that I am, then I'm going to be in love with what I can create more of, which is what I am, which is what love is. So that everything that I am creating, which is new and different than what was created before, is always going to be what love is, because that's what I am, from which it came. So love came first. Because it's basic logic that if you're not in love with who you are, you're probably not going to last very long, okay? So in other words, I'm self-aware. Yes, I'm very aware. What are you aware of? I'm aware of what I am, which is what? I am what love is. That's what I'm aware of. I'm aware of what love is, which means I'm a server, which means I'm in service. Why am I in service? So I can experience more of what I'm giving service to, which is what love is. So love is a server. So when love is a server, I'm serving more of what I'm giving love to, that I'm creating while I'm serving it. So therefore, I am a reflection of what I am that's in that mirror of what I just created. That created is a brand new sound creation, because the speed at which it's happening is happening at a fast enough speed that something isn't writing it into my timeline instead of what I am. So when you realize that you're an eternal being, because you're experiencing eternal love, which is what love is, that goes on forever, that's what I am. I'm what love is. So you already know that that's first creation energy, because it doesn't work backwards in time. It's always been. So the first unicycle, or the first unit of consciousness energy is what love is. Because it's experiencing being in a permanent state, an eternal state of peace, because it's breathing and it has space to breathe. So that spirit is on fire. And you can't ever put that fire out. So the first fire, the first spirit, and the first fire, which is spiritual energy, is creation energy. To create the first sphere, which is the first sun, that goes on forever. So that's what I am. That's the sun that goes on forever. So I have a relationship with my creator, which is what love is. Because that's what I experience being what I am, which is energy. So I'm a unit of energy, a unicycle, right? A monopole, right? A single pole, a single point in time. But there isn't any time. There's only what love is, so there isn't any time. So I've known this since I was a little boy, right? Yeah, so that means that's my identity station. My identity is what love is. What are you? I am what love is. What are you? So I know that the universe is always going to go on, whether it goes on without me or not, because you can't ever put that fire out. The first sun. Yeah, the eternal flame of Adama. So we use words or fire letters to describe what it is that we experience. So that's why I've always used, since I was a little kid, I use the word experience. I'm experiencing what it's like to experience being what I am, because I am what love is. So love is an experience, right? So experience is the speed at which you're completing a magnetic circuit. So half-assed are those polarities collapsing on each other to experience zero. because the speed at which the clocks are getting canceled out don't exist anymore. So before that happened, there had to be something that happened before that. That's the pre-substance, right? Fire and water, hydrolysis. So we just use these letters to describe what it is we experience. What is it like to experience? What it is that we are in energy. I'm on fire. That's what it's like to experience being what I am. That's spirit, the first breath of fire. So you need some coolant. Yeah. So I do everything I can to keep it simple. I was saying that when I was 4, 5, 6 years of age, and it doesn't change because you can't ever put that spirit out. That flame will always be burning. That first candle power. Yeah. Service. Being a server. What it's like to experience being a server. Right? So you know that a service, this is where we get into using the words thoughts, right? Intention and emotion. So what is emotion? Energy in motion. So we're servers. So servers are in perpetual motion. They're always in service, right? Which is love in service, which means the inner you, right? The point from which it all began, like the center point of ignition, like flashpoint drive in a drive motor, a tetrahedron, because you got a flash point, then you got an ignition point, right? Light the fire, right? Burn a gas, raging fires, right? I have been around some very big fires, right? And you know what a breather is, right? I was on a block one time where there was only a couple engines. We were up on top of a cul-de-sac in San Bernardino, and this wildfire was burning down from San Bernardino. It burned about 50 some odd thousand acres in less than 36 hours. So we call that moving like a freight train, screeching louder, just shrieking like metal. Whoa! It's deafening, very deafening. And when that much heat, right, is coming up, you can see these houses on the block breathing. You can see it breathing in and out, breathing out. So we saw one at the end of the block and we go, oh man, that one's going to blow. Ever seen a house blow when the amount of gas, which is pressure, which means it's got no more room to expand, right? Boom! Gazillion pieces, particles, splinters of little hot embers going everywhere, right? It needs more room to grow. There's not enough room, so the house will blow. There she blows. Remember Moby Dick? Yeah, there she blows, the story of Moby Dick. That's a great story about karmic debt. So anyway, I call this putting my 2 cents in, right? I do everything I can to keep it simple, complex number space. Keep it simple. It began out of what love is. I used to get into these little discussions as children, way back when I was a little youngster, a young tyke, about love doesn't work backwards in time. See? There isn't any time. No, there's only what love is, because that's what it began with, a raging fire. And so it's always been, that fire is always on. So I try and keep, it's just like in statistics and using negative and positive magnetic polarity, the input and the output, the minus last the plus, the input and the output, right? And so just keep this simple, right? Input. Okay, now I'm aware of something. Right? What am I aware of? I'm aware of what I am, which is what love is. What are you aware of? So units of energy, so you already know that you're in a cosmic level communication system, because units of energy that are self-aware are communicating with each other. What are you aware of? Right? I'm aware of what I am. Well, what are you? Okay. Do you have an identity? So you're reading the signal, the input. Now I know. I can read the frequency, the waveform. Okay, now I know what you are. You're a waveform. Just like a wave on a beach. Tunnels, right? Watch that wave peel. Peel like an onion, right? How far you want to ride that wave? That's called a free ride. riding mama's tunnels. Tunnel riders. Yeah. Shooting the curl. Glassy waves, right? Crystals, barking crystals. Crystic spiral. That's who we are. We're always on fire. So yeah, I begin with the spirit of fire, the eternal spirit of fire, because that's called purity. To purify yourself, which is to purify your light, which is called a purified heart, which is the light wheel, which is the medicine wheel. Right? So you know what the first star is a medicine wheel, the first medicine wheel, which is what love is, which is what heals us. Right? So that sun's always there. So it's never going to stop loving us. So keep it simple. Have a good evening. We love you all. Be good to ourselves.